Hello, that Weems guy here for first person safety. And the other day I heard some sports guys talking something about their four greatest running backs, their Mount Rushmore, so to speak, of a particular team. And while I didn't much care about that issue, it did give me an idea that perhaps I should discuss the four biggest influences on me as a firearms instructor, my Mount Rushmore, so to speak, because that's how they were referring to their topic. And I want to be clear that these are the four biggest influences on me individually, not who I think are the four biggest influences necessarily in the body of work that is firearms instruction from beginning till now. These are the four people who have influenced me the most. And if your favorite guy isn't on this list, well, I may not even have met your favorite guy or gal. So, again, these are the four biggest influences on me. And here we go. I'm sure you're not surprised that number one is Tom Givens. I met Tom for the first time in 2014. His combative pistol class was the first open enrollment class that I ever took, and that kind of got the ball rolling going down this whole open enrollment world. Later that year, took his instructor class, and it wasn't long before Tom really took me under his wing, and I was helping him with classes. I counted it up the other day, and I think I've helped him in 10 states now. It's easier to count states than it is ranges and classes. And that's a pretty good bit of travel, pretty good bit of water under the bridge. And Tom has been a great source of information, a great mentor, a great guide down pathways of knowledge. Sometimes he sends me assignments that I have to research. I was honored to be one of four people who codified the Rangemaster Doctrine. And, that was a pretty daunting task. It was a very worthwhile experience. And, I just can't put into words how much Tom's mentorship has meant to me. The second name on the list would be Dave Spaulding. I hosted Dave several years ago, and I did not know him prior to hosting him. And he came into town early that first day, or the day before the class, and we met for dinner and probably sat in the restaurant for an hour and a half talking various topics related to gun stuff. And, went through the class, had a very good experience. I followed that up by going to another class not long after that, and we began swapping emails, occasional phone call. And Dave has also been a very trusted source of information and guidance. And I think I'm up to 6 handgun combatives classes now. And you know Dave bestowed upon me a pretty good honor. He gave me a battlefield promotion to handgun combative certified instructor, and I don't take that lightly. I'm very appreciative of that. And you know I hope to be able to help the other group carry on Dave's legacy, and again, in addition to helping my Rangemaster family carry on Tom's legacy. And so, yeah, Dave's up on my Mount Rushmore. In the number, the third spot up on the Mount, not necessarily number three, but the third person up on my Mount Rushmore would be Eric Lund. And now, again, I said these are the four biggest influences on me. I met Eric in 2013 at an ILFE Master Instructor class. We quickly formed a friendship that has lasted to this day. Um, Not long after that, Eric and I had helped put together a law enforcement firearms class, excuse me, a law enforcement rifle class. And then Eric has allowed me to tag along and spend, time on him with ranges. And he's dropped in on my classes, and we constantly talk, we constantly text, and he's been a great source of information. And a lot of how I run a gun comes from Eric's tutelage. And also, Eric's been present for numerous hijinks that I won't go into in this video. But Eric's been a great friend and a great resource, and a very, very influential. Um, Eric is, at the time I met him, was on FN's national three gun team. He's also a USPSA Grandmaster. I realize he's not as well known as the other two guys named in the firearms instruction business, but Eric is a great, great firearms instructor. He spends most of his time teaching long range rifle now. His company's name is All Fire Dynamics, so be sure to look up Eric if you're not familiar with him. And then the fourth name, the fourth person up on my Mount Rushmore would be Sam Conway. Sam was an Army Marksmanship Unit member, and he later was an instructor at the Georgia Public Safety Training Center. Now, the reason Sam was up on my Mount Rushmore is because Sam was the first person who ever actually coached me. I went through the police academy in 1999, and I was struggling. I think I made it through the academy with an 82 and an 84 on the qualification courses. And occasionally an instructor will walk behind me, and instructors in air quotes there, will walk behind and say, "You're jerking the trigger." And I would say, "Well, sir, how do I stop doing that?" And they said, "Well, quit jerking the trigger." Oh, well, thank goodness you were here, was my thought. But I just kept it to myself, and I muddled through the best I could. And that continued, and I think just the self uh, determination, I managed to get my scores up to an 86 not long after that in agency training. And then I had a sergeant who sent me to a class at the Georgia Public Safety Training Center, at which Sam Conway was the lead instructor. And we were shooting a drill. I pulled a shot low left. Sam was walking down the line behind me, and he said, "Hey, you jerked the trigger." And at that point, I was a little overwhelmed with frustration. I holstered my pistol and I turned around, and with much agitation in my voice, I said, I keep hearing people say that, but nobody has shown me how to fix it." Well, Sam said, "Well, turn around, look at the target. We're going to fix that." And Sam coached me uh, through tearing the same hole out of the target. I won't give away Sam's secret in this format, and I won't give you his exactly what he said afterwards. And then he just walked off. And the next time I shot the qual course, I shot a 96. And it wasn't long after that that my agency sent me to firearms instructor school, and that started this whole pathway for me that led to me meeting the other names on this list and everything else that has transpired along with it. So thank you, Sam, for being that first coach. So here we go. You know, my Mount Rushmore: Tom Givens, Dave Spaulding, Eric Lund, and Sam Conway. A heartfelt thank you to all four of those individuals and to numerous others that have been very influential and very helpful on the way, but I can only put up four. So, to all of my firearms instructor brethren, start thinking about your list, because I may be calling on you so that we have the opportunity for you to pay tribute to the people who've helped you along. And I am Lee, for First Person Safety. Thank you for your time.